Sports are funny because we have an entire offseason where we try very best to predict how certain teams are going to do, to predict the play style of certain teams. And a lot of the times we go into the season and we're completely wrong. Two teams, well, more than two teams, but two teams I want to talk about today have proved me wrong one way or another. The first will be in the Miami Heat. Now, I'm a guy that has respected Eric Spoelstra for the entirety of his career, so when we did our over-unders podcast, I did go over on the Miami Heat, but the thing that I was wrong about was the play style. They have been such a boring basketball team over the last decade. They got good results, but even in their two NBA Finals runs, it wasn't the most pleasing to the eye. This season, through the first week, they are the most fun team in basketball for me. I got to talk about that. And then the other team is the 76ers. And I truly do believe if you made any 76er predictions for this season, you are crazy. There was too many question marks. Will Joel Embiid be ready? And if he is ready, what does that restriction look like? When will Paul George be back? Would VJ be good as a rookie? There was too many question marks to make any prediction for me, and they are one of the last undefeated teams left in basketball, so I got to talk about both. This video is brought to you by SeatGeek. Hit the link in the description. Use code KFR10 for 10% off your purchase of tickets. NBA season is here, and I know that when I want to go to a game, I'm checking out SeatGeek first. The reason for that is that they take tickets from all over the internet and put them in one central location for you to make it a one-stop shop to get into your favorite events. And it's not just sports now. They got concerts, they got comedy, they got Broadway, they got festivals, they got a lot of different things. So if you need some tickets, check out SeatGeek first. Let me show you how simple it really is. Tonight, we got the Kings versus the Bulls. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan coming back to town. Russell Westbrook, number 18 for whatever reason. Let's say I want 2 tickets and boom, it's already sorted by deal score. The best deal in the house is sitting courtside. I'm not doing that, but section 332, $47, that is an amazing view. But if you got a specific place you want to go, let's say you want it to be in this section right here, section 112, you can just zoom in and it'll give you the best deals. It's just that simple. With just a few more clicks, I would have been able to get tickets to watch my favorite team. Be sure to check out SeatGeek. Use code KFR10 for 10% off your purchase of tickets. I want to start off with the Miami Heat, who have completely shifted the way they play basketball. There's been all the rage to talk about how they have run the least amount of on-ball screens in all of basketball so far this season, and you can tell just by watching. You didn't need the numbers to prove that to be the case. The question was, like, how will they offense really hold on without their all-star Tyler Hero? And the answer is, it's like the best offense they've had in a very long time. I mean, just by an offensive rating standpoint, it's the best offense they've ever had in this organization. But compared to the other teams in the league, they have the 3rd ranked offense, which is the highest they have been since LeBron was on the team. Since LeBron was on the team, small sample size, maybe some of these games are not against the greatest of talent, but regardless, the play style is the play style, and it has been beautiful. It truly does remind me, and I don't watch a ton of college basketball until we get to March Madness. It reminds me of one of those mid-major March Madness teams that come out of nowhere, and through the power of friendship and the power of ball movement, they dominate a top-seeded team. That's this Miami Heat team, who on paper, they should not have this great of an offense. But they do. And I feel like everybody's kind of playing their role perfectly, and that matters. Like, I want to start off with, matter of fact, let's start off with Davion Mitchell, who in their last game against the Charlotte Hornets, he set the tempo very early in the game. I won't be showing you too many NBA clips in this video because Adam Silver and his team don't like when I end up doing stuff like this, but I do want to highlight a lot of things of Davion Mitchell, who has been an absolute dog. Look at where this possession is right now. Do you want to guess how this possession ends? Just the second bucket of the game for the Miami Heat. Just Davion Mitchell going right at the chest of LaMelo Ball, who doesn't want to foul. Then this is just, what, a possession or two later. There's a huge size difference between LaMelo Ball and Davion Mitchell. And though I've had a lot of fun watching the Charlotte Hornets before the season started, I was mentioning that it's going to be super hard to picture the Charlotte Hornets having a good to great defensive team if LaMelo Ball is on there, because he's just not a good defensive player. So he can ramp it up, right, in certain times in clutch games, but not on the possession-by-possession basis, right? I don't know, maybe this is more of an indication about LaMelo Ball's off-ball defense than anything, and I promise it's not supposed to be a LaMelo Ball hit piece because I think he's been playing really great this season. It's been a fun watch, but it's another one of the possessions where Davion Mitchell just plays a little bit smarter here, where you do see the help right here on the Wiggins pick and roll with Khalil Ware, and now there's a lot of space that Colin Sexton have to make up once he makes his pass to Davion Mitchell. He closes out very hard. LaMelo Ball, trying to be a gazillion IQ guy, he's going to try to jump a pass right here, but what? Pele Larson, he's not even there anymore. and Davion Mitchell just ships it off to him for an easy two. One thing you will notice if you watch them play is that Davion Mitchell's kind of like him and Jaime Jaquez, I guess, are the two guys that dribble the ball a lot. Everybody else is making very quick snap decisions and is leading to easy possessions, easy buckets, sometimes just off of a make from the opposing team. They get out and they run. It's not necessarily about pace, even though the pace has been a great thing. It's about, I guess it is kind of about pace. It's about pace. It's about finding mismatches. It's about cross matches, which is something they've taken advantage of a ton this season. And in order to play this brand of basketball, you need everybody to be completely bought in. And from Wiggins's interviews, from Bam Adebayo's, and for pretty much anybody that has had a microphone in front of them on the Miami Heat, everybody's completely bought in to play this by committee brand of basketball. And it's great because as a defensive team, you don't really know what you should be trying to take away. Bam Adebayo said after a game a few nights ago that the reason he's really liking this new play style is that they're very rarely running real plays. They're playing off instinct and everything. But occasionally you will see them run some stuff to get a guy like Simone Fontecchio, who y'all know anytime Fontecchio's in the game, I'm glued in. You see him coming off this double screen, and Fontecchio is one of those guys that's just going to pull it every chance he gets, and one. And it's something about having a shooter like this. Now, Fontecchio's coming off the bench and everything, so he's kind of like a spark plug in that way. It's something about having a shooter like this that is relentless in getting his own shot off. That's another three for him. Here's Jaime Jaquez again, setting up the offense. And again, I'm going to talk about Jaime in a second. He's been incredible so far this season. And as you can imagine, as we're talking about Simone Fontecchio, this is just tough shot making and a great, like a lot of these guards that are on the Miami Heat have done a really good job of driving and kicking. Drew Smith is not a guy that's on the radar for many people as NBA fans. But just him getting just one step, getting McNeely to bite a little bit, leaving Fontecchio with a little bit of space. And I mean, it ain't a ton of space for Fontecchio, and that's the win. But now I want to talk about Jaime Jaquez, who's through the first, 4 games of the season or so, he's got the highest plus minus in all of basketball. He's one of the most efficient players in all of basketball, and I love it. And I don't know if this level of efficiency is going to stick for the entire season. Hell, it probably won't stick for this entire season, but it's so good to see him have a bounce back based on last year. It wasn't very good. One of the things I admire about Jaime Jaquez, especially in this offense that is trying to get cross matches and is trying to get mismatches where it matters, Jaime just doesn't care. Bigger defender, smaller defender, I think I could take him. And that's the Jaime Jaquez way so far. They had a lot of possession where Moussa Diabate was his matchup, and he just went right into the chest of Moussa Diabate. He wasn't shooting the three-point ball through the first couple games, and this one he came off a few screens, a few pin-down screens, and hit threes. He's been great. And he kind of balances the free-flowing nature, the quick touches of the Miami Heat. Everybody else on the team other than him and Davion Mitchell have a average touch time below like 2 seconds, right? They get the ball, they make a decision. They get the ball, they make a decision. Jaime also can do that, but he also is a guy that's like, hold on, I want an empty side right now and let me go to work. Like this play, which is often a make for Con Knipple, who's been shooting it very well to start his NBA career. This is off of a make. This is just him seeing LaMelo Ball, basically empty side, and says, hey, I'm stronger than you are. I'm going to go right up and over you. And lastly, about this team well, I guess not lastly because we didn't even mention the name Norman Powell yet. But one of the things that really stands out is that only 6% of their possessions are happening where the shot clock gets down to the last 4 seconds. And that may not seem like a crazy stat, but it's the lowest in the league by a good margin. We got teams like the Clippers, who 18% of their possessions go that way. The Rockets are at 18% as well. The Knicks, 17.5%. This just showcases how quickly they're getting shots up and how decisive their offense has been so far. It's impressive. And Norman Powell is the perfect player to have for a system like this. I don't know if Eric Spoelstra just watched Taylor Jenkins last season and said, next year I'm going to try that, and we need to go get a Norman Powell type of player. Regardless, Norman Powell is perfect for this because he is a straight line driver, and he is a big time shot taker and maker off screens, hand in his face. It doesn't really matter too much. But he is so quick at decision making that it just fits perfectly. Now, a lot of the conversation outside of the 4 games they played is like, hey, Tyler Hero is going to be back in a few different weeks. Do we feel as though Tyler Hero can coexist in this type of offense? And I'm going to give Tyler Hero the benefit of the doubt. Yes, we recognize that Tyler Hero is a ball screen heavy type of player, but he also is a really good player. You know what I mean? And the last thing you kind of want to be if you're a Tyler Hero is a guy that's going to mess up the cohesion of a team so I can play my game. You know, I do expect some of these numbers to shift a little bit with Tyler Hero because you also do want to play to his strengths because the things that he's strong at, he's pretty strong at. But there's nothing about it that makes it like one thing that happens on NBA Twitter a ton. It's like, oh, the Spurs look so good with their young guards, so they must trade De'Aaron Fox. The Miami Heat looks so good with this new offense. Oh, they gotta trade Tyler Hero, right? Sometimes it's not that simple. Let's see these guys play with these new teams or this new offense before we make those big decisions on whether or not they should be traded. The Miami Heat have been fun. If you have not watched them play just yet, please do because it really is a great brand of basketball. All right, next, I'm going to talk about the 76ers who there's first of all, I feel like I've used up all the footage I can for this video, but there's not a ton of footage to be talked about for the 76ers. I feel like we just went from like a dive into the offense to the 76ers being like the vibes are immaculate. That's the real conversation about the 76ers right now. They at this moment in time have the number 2 offense in all of basketball, so just a little bit above the Miami Heat, who we just talked about. And there has not been a team that's been able to stop them just yet. It just hasn't happened. Even in their game last night when they were down by 19 points and it felt like it was over, they found out a way to go on like a 12-0 run to end the game. Everybody's playing such good basketball. We got to start off with Tyrese Maxey, who has been literally unguardable through the first 4 games of the season. He is the best version of a dual threat offensive option where he is such a great 3-point shooter that if he is getting it off of the catch, you have to make a decision if you want to close out hard. And guess what? If you do, he's just going to blow by you for an easy layup at the basket. Floater range, maybe the best floater in all of basketball. Even when he's playing screen and rolling with a Nadim Boner or a Joakim Noah? A Joel Embiid. Why did Joakim Noah name come to my mouth? Joel Embiid. He is such a good pull-up shooter. He is such a good passer at this point of his career that like he's hit a hole in the jump. And that's saying something because just a few years ago, he averaged 26. He averaged 26, and I'm telling you that through the first 4 games, he hit another jump. He's at a level of efficiency that is hard to replicate. And with him being as good as he has been on and off the ball, it just opens the game up so much more. In their game against, let me remember who that was. Not last night's game, but the game before that. Yes, the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic at one point in time started to throw 2 people at Tyrese Maxey and just opened the game up so much more for the rookie VJ to get a couple shots off in the mid-range, to get a couple backdoor cuts for different players. And so many people are just playing really good hoops right now. So Tyrese Maxey really just is a guy that like, I don't know what you try to take away. I just don't. Before the negative Nancy's get into the Debbie Downers, if you will get into the comment section, I recognize that so far the level of competition has been the Washington Wizards, the Orlando Magic, who can't guard anybody either, the Charlotte Hornets, and the Boston Celtics, who don't do anything as well. I recognize that, but at the end of the day, this channel is about appreciating what's in front of you. Yeah, they might get tougher matchups and then they start losing. That's not really relevant to me right now. I'm just taking it at what it is at this moment in time, which has been a fun basketball team. And one thing I really like is that with us not knowing exactly when Joel Embiid is going to play and when he's not going to play, I like how they're maximizing his minutes limit. Sometimes you see a guy be on a minutes restriction and he just kind of lingers around. It's like, no, if you're only going to be out here for 20 minutes, Joel Embiid, we want you to be him for 20 minutes. And last night game, he really did that. It's like 23 minutes, 25 points or so, and they were able to come back and close the game without him. So, yeah, let's maximize these minutes we have with him on the court until he gets completely healthy. That's a win. I've been impressed with a lot of people. Obviously, we mentioned the name VJ, and I don't know if I can say anything that hasn't been said about VJ just yet. I mean, if you just watch anybody in basketball media, everybody's extremely impressed with his level of athleticism. So far of his level of jump shooting, like, that was one of the biggest questions. And through the first 4 games, he's been hitting shots. That's pretty dope. We knew he was going to be a superior athlete. We knew he had the tools to be a good defensive player. I mean, that hasn't really materialized just yet, but the tools, I'm sure he'll get there one day. But it's like, can he hit the open 3? Can he create off the bounce? Yeah, the answer is yes through the first 4 games. So putting that aside, Quentin Grimes, man. I read a stat this morning that the Washington Wizards, matter of fact, let me make sure I get the stat correctly and give the proper credit where it's due. Hold on. Yeah, according to NBA.com, the Washington Wizards last night shot 2 of 19. I'm going to say it again. 2 of 19 when they were being guarded by Quentin Grimes. And not just that, Quentin Grimes hit maybe the biggest shot of the entire game to put it into going into overtime, just a few seconds left. So he has been incredible. There's so many bright spots about this team that it kind of band-aids over, all of the stuff with their 2-star players or their 2 max players that is like, it's cool. The vibes are immaculate. And as I'm recording this video, Jake Fisher just reported that there's definitely some positive momentum, to my understanding, about Paul George making his NBA, why did I just put that? His season debut sometime next week, plus sometime in early November. So by early November, they could have their entire star lineup completely healthy, or at least most of their star lineup completely healthy. And I don't know. I still feel like it's hard to make a prediction or to, yeah, like this organization as a whole has always been, oh, something just happened. So it's hard to make a prediction, but I'm gonna take it at face value and say everything is looking good in 76er land right now. Adembona, that man sometimes can be somewhat out of control. Like I think we have to recognize that. But some of the defensive plays he can make is the exact type of center that I really like as a backup. He just truly is. I think that I don't know how much they've done this. Let me see. Let me see if I can find these stats. And maybe they did it a little bit last season. But I feel like we could and should get some minutes of Adembona and Joel Embiid playing together. So far through the last 2 seasons, they played 2 minutes together. 0 this season, just 2 last season. And they didn't score in that 2-minute stretch. So I can't. But I wouldn't mind seeing them play at least just to give me a couple possessions, them playing on the court together. I feel like it could be pretty interesting with some of the dynamic guards they have on the court as well. Because right now they're struggling to have create stops, which through the first 4 games, because their offense has been so potent that it hasn't really mattered. But if this team's going to do anything, they're going to have to get stops, sit in that chair. And I think playing both of those guys together could potentially help some of that. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. That's all I got. Maxey's playing like a superstar. VJ's playing like Rookie of the Year. Quinn Grimes playing like he deserved all the money in the world. And Joel Embiid doesn't look half bad considering all of the stuff around it. So, fun. Eastern Conference. Better than we anticipated. The Bulls are still undefeated as I record this video. So, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we get a Bulls video tomorrow if they win against Sacramento. We'll see.